Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Brother Sister Show, a family owned and operated podcast where two siblings keep in touch by talking about movies. This week, oh my God. This week,
Wow,
keeping
bro.
it in. This week,
What-
we're talking about Anthony's pick, Moonrise Kingdom. But before we get into that, does Kayla have something to say?
I don't think so. She just dropped a pee bottle.
Let's talk about what we watched this week. Anthony, first, I would like you to start with Dark Phoenix.
Okay, Dark Phoenix. Like
How
there's
good
so
was
much.
it?
It's pretty bad. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's
Raven
like,
didn't have to die. Not at all.
who was
I feel like
Raven?
they were just like
Oh,
Jennifer
yes.
Lawrence.
I forgot about that.
I don't know. I
Spoilers.
was gonna say Mysterio. What's her name? Mystique.
Mysterio.
There's this one funny part where I don't think it was like intentionally funny. It's just like the CGI just looked a little weird. It was when during that fight where Raven dies, Quicksilver's running, and Dark Phoenix or Jean like kind of like moves the thing that he's running on, and he just like falls. Like that whole sequence was really funny. I don't know.
Did you notice the hotel thing I mentioned? I don't remember why I laughed so hard. I think it was that, or there was another fight scene with I think like Michael Fassbender, and they like said something funny. I don't know. I just remember when I watched it. Sebastian and I watched it at home, and I think we like had to rewind it because we were like, "What the fuck was that?"
I think I know what you're talking about.
I need to watch
It is a
it
little
now.
weird.
I'll watch it
I,
during work tomorrow.
I don't know if I recommend it, but
I just like have it playing in the background.
Tenet's on HBO, I think now. I'm gonna watch that
I thought it's
after
been on.
finals. Has it?
Maybe not.
Not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be ready to be confused.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until after finals
and to watch
because
it like this.
turning up the volume.
Yeah.
Just all audio. That's like the first rule, right? It's like if you don't have good audio, no one's gonna want to watch or
Yeah, I
listen,
don't know.
whatever.
There's like a whole thing. Maybe we can get into it whenever you do watch it because there is this like controversy. Now I say it the dumb way like our parents say it. But there's a controversy about the way that he did the audio, like the way he mixed it. I think he did it purposefully bad, but
Right.
because he wanted people to listen or something, but like it
Yeah,
never
we talked about
serves
this.
yeah, it never serves you well to treat your audience like they're fucking idiots. And I felt it. But yeah, but I'm excited for you to watch it. I can't believe you haven't seen it.
I know. It feels like I would have been the first to go watch it, but yeah.
I don't really blame you.
Other than that, I can. Oh, Kayla. Actually, I'll save that for last. The A-Team, the not old one, the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, relatively new. Bradley Cooper. That one's a good one. Just like a feel-good movie, I guess. Yeah. But Kayla and I have recently started rewatching Game of Thrones.
Why?
Just ready to get disappointed for the last season.
Are you gonna?
I don't know.
That's what I was gonna ask. Sorry, yawning. Are you gonna watch? Are you going to watch the last seasons, or are you gonna skip them?
Nah, we'll watch it. I like.
You just want to see Jon Snow's ass.
We keep on doing this thing where we just glossing right past that.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, what happened to that character? We immediately look it up. Like, is this how they die? Is this what happens to them? It's crazy to me that show is just one episode. Like the first episode, everyone just dissipates. They all go their separate paths, and then they either don't see each other again because they die, or they just disappear, or they just like reconvene at season 7 or whatever. It's just crazy.
But the thing that I think I was watching like a TikTok or something about it where this guy was kind of dissecting what went wrong and like very, not borderline, what's the word? Overhead, like a very like basic thing. He didn't get too deep into it, obviously, because it's TikTok. But he was saying that that is the reason it was good, is because they weren't afraid to be like they weren't afraid to be realistic with the time that it took to
Right.
travel. So like if one of them was gonna go travel to Westeros, it would take the whole fucking season. But in the
Right.
later seasons, it seemed like it took like 2 days, you know.
Mhm. Well, it's
And
like they were
so
running out of time.
yeah, and also just like how they would kill people, and it just got really. I think that was it. Is they just panicked. Or no, he
Yeah.
what he said is he said the different or what you can tell the change in the bad storytelling is when they ran out of books. Because when they first started the show, they were under the
Oh.
impression, like everybody else was, that he would finish the like books, but he didn't. So then they had to actually do their jobs,
And
and
right.
that was
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, there's a couple things. One cool fun fact is I've held uh Needle, Arya's sword, and I don't know the name of the other sword Jon Snow eventually gets
Mm.
from Mormont, Sir Mormont. But it just makes me think of like in real life, w- like people in high school. I saw them all the time for 4 years, and graduation happened last day of school. Never gonna see them again, or I may see them again. It's just like if someone were filming it Game of Thrones style, and then you just like waiting for that moment for these characters to like realign or whatever. Or like just people I've met in
Oh.
college. Not that I've met that many people, but it's just crazy how it just made me think about all the people that I've met and if I'll ever see them again or when I will see them again. It's crazy.
Are you okay?
It's getting deep, bro.
You
It's just
like
it's just weird.
you kind of paused for I think there was something in your throat or something, but it sounded like you were choking up, and I was like, "Oh god, what's
Oh,
happening?"
just going through it,
And
man.
then I need a moment. Oh, that is interesting. Yeah. I never thought about that. So what's going to be the red wedding then?
I
Oh
don't know,
god.
man. I'm scared. I'm very
Oh, there you
scared.
go. Oh, that's
Well,
interesting.
that's pretty much all I watched. I mean, there's like schools happening.
Mhm.
Like I was telling you before we started, I'm just scared for next semester because
That'll
my
be the
school
red
is gonna
wedding.
go. Yeah, that'll be
Your
the red wedding because
your grades.
they're going in all person, all in person. So I don't know how that's gonna go. Just having to travel because I'm gonna be living off campus will be weird.
Mm. Having a commute.
Having a commute, possibly going back to work.
Oh
Who
yeah.
knows?
Back to life. Whew, yeah.
Very scary.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I for my job we're not going back to our office,
Right.
but today Sebastian and I went to this sushi place, the revolving. Have I taken you before when you were here?
Yeah, I've been there.
And
Maybe not the
so
same one, but
oh, but we went for the first time in I don't remember how long, a year probably. Because we're both fully vaccinated, and it
hmm
was so weird. Like I told him, it just feels like everything. It feels like stuff is getting back to normal, which is kind of scary because I'm like, it's even when stuff was normal, it changed in an instant. And so it's still
exactly.
in my mind. I'm like, we're gonna go under quarantine again, which I mean, it could
Yeah,
happen, but like,
it very well could. I mean, there's those new strains
oh
popping up
god,
every other
yeah, I
day. It
know.
seems like.
Oh,
Do you
but I
think
mean,
you'll go back to the movies soon? Kayla and I have talked about it, and we're like, I, one, there's not anything good,
okay,
so but
so
it's
that's the
also,
thing.
eh.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because same here because we can't. I mean, it's the whole like 2 weeks out. We're like legitimately fully vaccinated, so we could go and it would be safe, I think. But I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, am I being too precious about it? Because when somebody asked me if I was going to go this past week, I said I want to just go randomly to just any movie. Like I truly
Right?
would go to any movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But then part of me is like, should I not do that? Should I make it into something? Because the movies is such a big part of my life and I haven't been in over a year, which is probably truly probably the longest I've haven't gone to the movie theaters in my entire life, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, less like, when I was a kid. But like either way, it just feels I want to like part of me wants to make something out of that.
make a big moment. Vlog it,
Yeah,
TikTok it. Are you gonna go
maybe.
soon?
I don't
Do you think?
know. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could technically go this weekend.
We should try. I mean, there's like a
I
couple
don't know what I'm
movies.
nervous about.
Yeah, yeah. I'm nervous a little bit. It just seems weird, being in a place for like 2 hours that isn't home.
And yeah, I think because I don't know, there's just so much mixed stuff. Because like CDC told people. I mean, they didn't say anything about indoors. I think they said to still be like cautious about that. But I don't know. I think that's the thing that I'll feel for a while. Just the nervousness of doing anything. Like even going to the restaurant that we went to today. Like I still felt like I was doing something bad.
Yeah, the guilt it won't
Yeah.
leave for a while.
But I want
But
to go, but then and then even if I get past the whole nervousness of it, I don't know if I wanna go see fucking The Fifth Element. I mean, I love The Fifth Element, but is that the movie I wanna see whenever I go back? Sorry,
I
that one's
kind
showing at the draft house, that's why I brought that one up.
of there's a couple of movies, actually just one movie on top of my mind that I really want to see is The Green Knight,
When is that coming out?
July 30th, I believe.
Oh, I'm not waiting that long.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long time,
Apparently
but
apparently A Quiet Place is supposed to come out on, like, at the end of this month, I think.
very interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you brought it up because I've been wanting to, like I thought I was the only one that was, like, thinking about this, and I'm like, "Am I being too" I don't know.
Cautious, whatever. Yeah, and it's also like not wanting to spread COVID, but I don't know. Everyone we interact, I don't, we don't interact with like our immediate family, but if we did, they're all fully vaccinated as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I don't
maybe it's
know.
time to just bite the bullet. Go see nobody, or I don't know.
I know. Like that's the thing too is like do I cuz I have such a good last movie I saw whenever before COVID
Oh yeah, same here.
and I want a good one to come back to.
You want to
And
hit the ground running.
another thing is the theater I want to go to. Like where should I
Mm,
go?
yeah, there's a nice theater here, Star Cinema Grill. It's like
Mm.
very nice.
Oh, I've been to that one.
Yeah, that one would be a good one to go to.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what have you watched that probably wasn't in a theater?
I don't really think I've watched anything. I do I okay, I don't did I talk about the show Invincible last time? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. There's a show on Prime that I highly recommend called
Okay.
Invincible. It's an animated show, which yeah,
Oh, with this. Yeah. Okay.
it
I think
has
I
an
know.
insane cast.
Yeah.
I've never even heard about it until Sebastian told me to watch it. Or he was watching it. I think it was like on episode 6 or 7 or something. And there's 8 in the season and they were renewed for 2 more seasons, but
Yeah.
they
I
only
saw
had
the
season
announcement
1.
on Twitter.
I think I probably saw I think now I'm looking back at it. I'm sure I saw a TikTok, but then I didn't it's animated, so I was like, "Oh, I don't want to I don't care." But
Right.
he he was like, "Just watch this first episode." And I said, "Okay." And I did and have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Or just watch the first episode, the full thing.
Okay.
And I think you'll be hooked because I was like it's funny that you bring up Game of Thrones because I told Sebastian I don't remember being like gasping or being as shook as much as I was and did since I watched Game of Thrones.
Interesting.
So,
I'm excited to watch it.
yeah, just watch the first episode. The only thing I will say about it that it's weird is it's kind of like WandaVision, but only because they have after credit scenes where they'll show the credits, it'll play for like 2 seconds and then it'll like keep going. So the credits are don't signify that it's completely over.
I see.
You'll see what I mean, but you just have to just watch the first episode and I think you'll be hooked. But it's pretty good. And I'm excited for season 2 and 3.
Nice.
But yeah, that's all
That's
I
it.
remember. I don't remember Whoa. I don't remember watching anything else. To be completely honest, I don't know why, but I had to like, I, what's the word? I had to like just get through Moonrise Kingdom to be completely honest. It kind of bores me, that movie. So I
Alright,
think the whole
well, let's get
time,
into it then.
like all week, I was just like preparing myself to watch that.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
Cut to the break.
A pair of young lovers flee their New England town, causing a local search party to find them in Moonrise Kingdom. Directed by Wes Anderson, written by Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola, starring Jared Hillman, Kara Hayward, and Bruce Willis.
So Moonrise Kingdom came out on May 25th, 2012. Other movies that came out on the same day were Men in Black 3, Chernobyl Diaries, and The Untouchables, or Intouchables.
Intouchables.
Critics give it a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 84% on Metacritic. So, as usual, since this is my movie, I'll start,
Okay.
and I just want to talk about childhood.
Okay.
So, I did some research. We're not going to talk about childhood exploitation in movies.
Okay.
That's a whole different argument. There's like a lot of arguments about that whole kind of sex scene.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Uh,
Totally forgot that happened, and I hated
same
it.
same here. I don't really want to get into that um,
I,
because I'd rather talk about something feel like would be more interesting.
uh-huh.
Is this movie's obviously coming of age story? Um, some would say it's more of or it's like a fantasy, um, and it's very nostalgic, at least for me, because it made me think of my childhood and our childhood. Um, because I feel like at least part of our childhood, especially in Alaska, was sort of whimsical,
Yeah.
and I feel like we both, or on, I feel like Alaska to me is a very whimsical place because I was very young and we used to go outside and play manhunt and just go to that playground that was like less than 100 feet from our house.
Hmm.
So I just want to investigate our childhood in Alaska and a little bit of San Antonio because I you were a little bit older in San Antonio, but I was still relatively young. So I did adventure in our neighborhood. But what do you remember from Alaska? What was your favorite childhood memory from? I should have said this beforehand, given you some, but I'll go first. I
Okay.
remember honestly probably just the snow days the most
Hmm.
because I mean obviously there's going to be a lot of snow in Alaska, but there was that hill at the edge of our um, street, I guess,
Hmm.
and we just always go sledding there. I learned how to snowboard there. I remember thinking that was like Shaun White because I had a lot of Shaun White clothes. I just like just ripping that hill new one.
Yeah.
That was a lot
I
of fun.
Well, I do remember lots of like adventures, and it feels like we
Right.
live on a military base. It feels different than it does feel. I don't know. It feels like a gated community, but to the like the highest level because this is a community that's gated by like weaponry, and like tanks, and not tanks, but you know what I mean. But so I think we were able to explore a lot more than
Right.
other kids probably could. So we were able to like be, and I don't know, Alaska just feels like wilderness because there's so much wildlife that are just like roaming around. Like there's moose everywhere.
Moose, yeah.
There's we didn't see any bears. So it wasn't like that. But and also I feel like we were really spoiled in the trips that we took. Cause I remember stuff like that of, exploring our own home and going into the forest and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, but a big thing I remember is the trips that we took. And
Right.
yeah, I don't know, we just got to see these beautiful places, like glaciers. We camped all the time, and camping was its own adventure too. You just, like, go into these little trails and you fish, and I don't know, just, like, yeah. I did like the area that they were at whenever they, like, camped by the shore, like,
Right.
that did look very much like Alaska to me, especially the place that we used to camp at. But yeah, I guess I didn't think about that in terms of how whimsical it was, because yeah, it was pretty whimsical.
Yeah.
I don't have
When I
the
think
that same
of
whimsy about San Antonio, so I'm curious
no,
to see
no,
what
no,
you
yeah.
think
I was
about
gonna
that.
say, like, to me, Alaska is very much like Moonrise Kingdom is Alaska for me, and I think that's
Okay.
why I like this movie so much is because it reminds me of like all the dumb stuff that we do in Alaska. Like when you guys scared me thinking that the aliens were on the walkie-talkies. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
remember that.
No, I do
There's
remember
that,
that.
like
Yeah, I
all of
guess
that.
this makes me like it a little bit more, especially because of the whole, like, I liked, I did like this one scene where they're basically, like, taking, it looks like they're taking inventory of all the stuff that they have, and she's, like, showing him
Right.
all the books, and that's when you realize, I mean, you know that they're kids because 'cause they're obviously very young, but you're like, "Oh, she took books to run away. What an
Yeah.
idiot." Well, I don't know if, but that's the thing, I don't know if they were running away because it seemed like she was, like, gonna return. I don't know. Either way, it was just really funny to me that they, like, had this whole plan of, that's what childhood is, I guess, where you, like, have this whole plan where you're like, "Well, I'm gonna run away, and I'm gonna bring all my books, and I'm gonna have my boyfriend," and, like, all these things, and I don't know, just, like, felt very silly.
Yeah. I feel like every kid has that too, like, just
Yeah.
not necessarily gonna act on it like they did, but just wanting to run away and just to do your own thing.
Yeah. And I think he did capture that really well,
Oh,
that
yeah.
childhood, like, energy. And all the kids that were in the movie were really good. I was very
Oh,
surprised
yeah.
that Lucas Hedges was in it.
Lucas Hedges and also Jake Ryan.
Yes. Yes, I almost
I
screamed
was
when I
like
noticed that was him.
yeah, I like my mind was blown.
I
It was
think I knew he was
perfect.
in that, but I, like, totally forgot.
I had absolutely no idea. It was really fun. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Also, just the whole like not wanting to grow up. You know, like I mean, granted, those kids were pretty mature for their age, I'd say, but like they didn't want to grow up. They didn't want to like the people around them, like the adults in their life, were like examples of what being an adult was like. Like her mom
Yeah.
was a cheater. Her dad wasn't happy, and
The chief was
uh
sad.
yeah, all of that, just like the adults in their life just showed them growing up is lame
I was gonna
and
say,
not wanting to leave that.
I don't think they, I would argue that they did wanna grow up. Because, I mean, that's what running away would signify, that you are a grown up now and that you can handle it. I would say they just didn't wanna be grown-ups like their parents were, or like the people in their town were, because I
Right.
think they were like, you're not, I don't know if you can teach me how to be an adult because you're not even doing it right," you know?
Right. Yeah, I see that. I don't know, it just this movie just reminds me of Alaska so much, and I miss it.
I do
And I
too.
wanted to say, the part of this movie where it's like the going on adventures reminds me a little bit more of San Antonio, but it's more of like a mid-90s vibe because I would skateboard around with everyone.
Yeah.
So Moonrise Kingdom is Alaska for me, and mid-90s is San Antonio.
Oh, you kinda had this little quirky thing. Do you know what I'm gonna talk about? Where you and your friends
No.
would, like, collect things, and you
Oh,
had, like, a
yeah.
little area. Like, I remember one time we went on a walk and you were like, "Do you wanna see our," I forgot what you called it.
Or
You're like, "You,"
Stash.
oh, "You wanna see our stash?" And I was like, "What?" And you
It's
just
just
showed us this, like, it was just a collection of just random shit.
yeah, like bricks, tires,
That felt like
anything that we
a
find on our way home.
that felt like just a random, like, Wes Anderson quirky thing.
Yeah.
That's cool, but I mean, maybe that is a good, I guess, indicator of his style. Is it's Well, that what I read is that, people call it direct directing because everything is intentional, like, the way he moves the camera, the costumes that people have, the movements they make, the Like everything has a purpose.
Yeah, that's actually a great transition to my next point, so we'll just go into it instead of
Oh,
alternating,
okay.
which is just Wes Anderson.
Mhm.
His style, his everything. I kind of broke it down into, what is it, 5? We don't have to go through, like, in depth that many,
Okay.
but I think, like, yeah, like you were saying, his camera work is very, it's almost like, I mean, it is direct in the way it's like the lateral movements, um, which are absolutely perfect, and
Mhm.
it's like he is like coined that, where he's like treating the real life houses like a dollhouse,
Yeah.
kind of like in Hereditary,
Mhm.
in a different way though. Just like the transition is just so perfect, and he does it like even in I mean all of his movies. I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
his upcoming one. I don't know the name of it, but I'm very excited for that one.
French Dispatch,
There you go.
I think.
Um, and I also wrote about his dialogue. His dialogue is also very matter of fact.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
the way his characters speak. It's like so fast paced, and they just say it. They just say the shit. It's so
Yeah.
funny. I love it.
It's very
Um,
direct. That's why it's called direct directing.
exactly, especially with the framing. It's very uniform, and I love it. Very
Well,
uniform and very symmetrical.
and how they describe it in that I should have like found the article, but how they describe it is, and I think I have the, and no, I don't have the quote from it. Is that he's showing you what he wants to show you, like directly what he wants to
Oh
show
yeah.
you, and just the way his camera moves, you can picture him being like, "I want you to like look here, and then that. Look at that." Like he's like pointing,
Hmm.
but with his camera.
Yeah, the one great example I can think of. I mean, there's the whole movie is just a great example of that. But it's when Edward Norton's character is like walking the camp then the first time,
Hmm.
and he's like giving everyone like checks, I guess, whatever it is. And he goes to the fireworks, and he's like moving his cigarette away from the fireworks, and then he goes to the tree house, and then they like point up to the tree house. It's just like, it's so genius. I don't know. It's so perfect.
It's really cool.
And then my last 2 notes about this are just the music and the colors,
Hmm.
just like those technical aspects. The music, I don't I wanna be able to find music like this. It's just so perfect the way it's, like, upbeat, but not at the same time. It just fits so well. I
Hmm.
want that skill. I want it. And then the colors, it just fits so well for every movie. Like, Grand Budapest Hotel is
Or like more
amazing.
cold colors, and I
Yeah,
feel
this
like
is
certain movies have certain colors for him. Like this one to me it's yellow.
yeah. They're this and Fantastic Mr. Fox are just autumn for me.
Yeah, that one I think of orange.
Yeah. Man.
Grand Budapest to me is like a is blue.
Granted, I've never seen Grand Budapest Hotel,
You
but
haven't?
I have not.
Come on.
I need
Darjeeling
to, but
Limited's really good too. That one's green.
well, yeah. So that's Wes Anderson for you. That's all I
Yeah.
have.
Well, that's a good talking about his style is a good way to start mine because I want to talk about developing your own unique style. I feel like so many people I was going to talk about his specific style um and how he made that, but I feel like I found so many articles about that and I was like, huh, I don't know.
Yeah, I
People
just
do
wanted
this
to
all the
touch
time.
points on it. Like
Yeah,
there's so much.
but but what I wanted to get into is to teach people, at least from my experience, I'm not an expert, but this is how I've done it. How to develop your own unique style. But this can be in anything. For me, it's mostly in like graphic design. But you can use this for film, for photography, music producing, anything. And yeah, like I said, caveat, this is only my own experience and I am still learning, so there's still a ton of stuff that I need to do. But I break it up into I think 4 points or four like tips, I guess. But the first is to get inspired. So when you see something that looks like what you want to make, for me it's a lot of Pinterest stuff. So I pin it. But you want to make sure that you stop and take it in. So, like I said, if it's a painting or if it's a graphic design, save it somewhere. If it's a painting, examine every part of it. If it's a movie, don't just watch it, but like analyze it and talk to your friends about it. If it's a shop sign that you really like, take a picture of it so you can have it saved. Just make sure that you're always taking it in and not just being like, oh, that's cool. Especially if it's something that you're like, oh, I want to make something like that. And then under the get inspired, you also want to seek inspiration. So make it a point to seek out things. Um, Not just things, but people and places that inspire you to create. So this is why I don't know if there's something that you like to do, Anthony, but I when I'm designing, I love to listen to music or podcasts because I can't be by myself for a single second. But also, I just like to seek out ways to get inspiration and to just collect information that I can use in other creative like aspects of my life. I don't know. What's the what do you typically do? I don't know if it's in computer engineering if you can have your own style, but is that something that you've been like having to do or not really?
Uh, I mean, there's like for me specifically because I want to be like a software engineer. It's more of like the apps or software that you create. So
Mm.
it's just like coming up with ideas, which I'm not really good at. I can take someone's idea and use that. So it's normally people come up to me. I mean, you've done it before. It's like, hey, I
Yeah.
want this. I need this to be built. Build it for me. But I
I'm trying
use
to get into
music,
that. Oh, you listen
uh,
to music?
not necessarily for software development, but whenever I want to make a video or a TikTok or anything, I'll try to find music that'll fit a scene, or I'll think of a scene for a specific piece of music. That's what'll happen.
Well, there you go. And I guess a way to get inspired is to just listen to more, but be intentional with it, right? Like if it's going to
Mhm.
be a TikTok, then listen to TikTok sounds and try to maybe once a day come up with an idea that
Right.
has to do with a TikTok sound. Two is to make stuff that you like. This okay, so this kind of sounds dumb on the surface, but when you're a creative, this is actually really hard to do. And that's a big part of what stopped me from finding my own style is having to create for other people. So kind of what you're saying, like people giving you ideas, because it can be kind of a crutch sometimes. Especially and if you're in a creative role in your day job, it can be kind of hard to
Right.
do your own stuff because you're just wanting to please your client. And so once I was able to make something for myself, I was able to create a look that I loved 100%, but it was really hard to do that because I was really bogged down with like the idea of, oh, well, this person won't like it. Or I can see one person being like, oh, this is too simple. Like I still, even though I'm only creating for myself, I still have these other people and voices in my head telling me how bad what I'm making is.
Yeah.
Um, but the beauty of having a vision is when other people vibe with it too. So even though I'm still refining my style, I do notice the increase in confidence in myself that I have because I'm creating my own style and I'm being confident in it. That translates directly to the confidence that other people have in me. So to
Right.
bring Wes Anderson back into the whole story, I mean, the only he could be trying to make like imagine he is at the beginning of his career and he made a movie like Moonrise Kingdom and one person told him, "Yeah, I don't know, it's not for me." Cuz there's always going to be somebody that's like, "I don't know if it's not for me." But if he would have let that make like bring his confidence all the way down, then we wouldn't have had the other movies that he had. We wouldn't have had this distinct like style that he
Right.
has. So you just got to keep
Yeah.
pushing through. And
Yeah, the
that
way the
goes to
way I
my
see
oh
it.
sorry.
No,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I just want to quickly say, like, I don't know how well this applies to other creative arts, but I think for like making video content or films, the way I see it is I always want to make stuff. I mean, just like to what you're saying, is stuff that I want to watch,
Mhm.
stuff that I would enjoy watching, even if it wasn't me creating it.
Or I think
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was Andy Kaufman, but this really famous and really good comedian, a lot of the stuff he did, he said that I mean, everybody, not everybody, but he had so many people that loved his work, but he said that, or I don't know if it was him saying this, but he only really wanted to make one of his friends laugh. Like everything he did was just to make one friend laugh. But other people loved it so much. So like
Right.
if you're that one person that you're like, "Well, I'm just making this because I like it," that could be enough. So, keep doing it.
You
All right,
never
so
know.
next is to make, this is the best piece of advice I've ever gotten about creative things, about making something creative, and it's to make a shitty first draft. And my this was from my journalism professor in college, and she just basically taught us the importance of getting everything on the page no matter how terrible it is, because it's always, her thing is a first draft is always going to be bad. It just is. And it's so much easier and less overwhelming to accept that, because you're like, okay, I can form something that's really shitty into gold because I have the idea there. I can see the potential. And so I'm able to, like, work from something that's not an empty canvas. But if you try to make gold on your first try, you're never going to be able to do it. And a lot of people never
Right.
get to define their style because they stop when they don't like make something they like. Like the first time they try something, they're like, "Oh, but I didn't like it." Of course you're not going to like it. Nobody likes anything the first time they try it.
Yeah.
And failing is just, it's so essential to the process. So you're going to go through many, many iterations of your own style before you find something you're happy with. I mean, just ask me how many fucking website designs I've been through with my own website. I've been through so many. I just changed it right now, but like, that's what you have to keep doing to find something that you're happy with and to evolve into a style that feels like you. I mean, I
Yeah.
would love to see Wes Anderson's first film. I can't imagine, or like a first iteration of whatever script he would write. I can't imagine it's as good as the final draft.
There's a
It is.
wild way that Taika Waititi writes, where it's
Oh
I don't
my
know if you've
god,
heard of
it's
it,
so chaotic. Yeah.
where he, like, will write the first draft, he'll, like, leave it for 3 years or something, come back to it, read it, throw it away, rewrite it, and he does that, like, 5 times or something. Something ridiculous.
I mean, it's kind of, it makes sense, but there's no way I could ever fucking do that. Just delete it. And I think he started out the interview. He was like, "I don't think anybody will like. Nobody's gonna like this." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't like that. I hated it." And the last thing is to create constantly. The only way to know a style is uniquely yours is to practice it consistently in many, many forms. So for me, this is websites. That's the thing I'm trying to perfect now, but for other people. So they're all different, right? I have mine, I have like two other websites I'm working on. Um, but working through those with vastly different people, vastly different needs, and different personal styles, that I knew that my style worked because they worked for other people too. And so my distinct style was sustained through many different projects. And the way I'm bringing Wes Anderson into this is that his style, his unique direct directing, is maintained through many different kinds of stories and even stop motion. I mean, the fact that he could do what he did still with Fantastic Mr. Fox shows that he knows, no matter what you throw at him, no matter what story, what mode, if he was going to do a fully animation movie, then he could still have his personal style and his personal taste. So you can still, that's one thing I've been learning right now, and that's why I think this came up for me, is that I even, like, my style is very, very colorful and very simple is how I would describe mine. And I used to think like, oh well, nobody's gonna want to work with me because I only like that. But that's not true. Like I've had people ask me to do their sites and I'm like, okay, but what do you want? And they're like, oh well, I like what you did for this person, so just do that. Like do the same thing but with these colors and this font and So, yeah, I mean just don't think that, I think my whole thing is, if your style is quirky, or if you think it's like a Wes Anderson in that it's too quirky, it's too unique, it's too different than what then something that people would like, then you're wrong. Somebody is going to like it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
There
Like,
yeah, there's no way to know unless you put it out there.
exactly. But yeah. Okay, but last part is that these tips are, I mean, not to brag, but these are fantastic. But how do you know that you've created your own style? Like, how do you know when you're done? Um, the trick, well, not the trick. The funny thing is that I can't tell you.
Trick is you haven't, okay?
Exactly.
You're not original.
Forget everything I just said, and we're gonna redo it right now. I'm gonna delete everything. But yeah, I can't tell you that. And I have a little quote from an article that I read, and it says that Wes Anderson's style is Wes Anderson himself. He is a hardworking, thoughtful human who is focused on his imagination. His visuals are an extension of his own psychology. Anderson is those clothes, those Adidas, I don't know what those are. Those record players, those memories. They're like basically this person, I'm not quoting anywhere, but this person is saying that the style is him. Like that's how he knows that his style is uniquely his and it works is because it's him. And so when you're creating, you're just basically packaging little parts of yourself for people to consume. So it's not for me to say if your style is wrong or not. But what I can tell you if you were to present it to me is if it does or doesn't feel like you. Because the thing that's hard about creating something like a movie is that people all around you are always going to have opinions about what they think and they'll think that it overrules your creative integrity, but you have
Right.
to be a champion for your vision. And that's the only true way that you know your style is completely yours is if you can defend it in that way. Because if somebody's telling you, "Oh, well that pink is not right." You're saying, "Well, that pink is my soul."
How dare
And
you
so
come
it's
for my
right for me.
soul?
But do you know what I mean? like basically you people will, and the thing I always say, not on the podcast, but is that people know when you're not being real with them.
My popular
I've
catchphrase.
always said
You
I
know it.
need to do that every time. And you know what I've always said? I don't like Moonrise Kingdom. No, I'm kidding. And what I do say in my personal life is that people know when you're not being real with them. Like people will know if somebody was like, I'm gonna make a Wes Anderson type movie, they're gonna know it's not his, they're gonna know it's a phony, and they're gonna know it's not you and it's not him and it's somebody imitating him. So you need to be able to defend your own vision and to like after you create it, basically. Yeah, there you go.
Ah, man.
Are you ready to create your own style? We're gonna do it right now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm prepared.
But there you go. Those are just like ways that you can start doing that. The next thing I have is completely different than what I just talked about. But it is something I think is a fun way to end talking about this movie. It's just talking about the different characters that Wes Anderson constantly has in his movie. Not characters, I should say actors. But he has basically the same people on speed dial, it feels like. So that's what I've called Wes Anderson's speed dial list. So I only have a few that I thought of the top of my head. I figured you would know more, but the first one is Owen Wilson. Although a fun fact I learned is that this movie is the first time he's never been in one of his movies before.
Dang, that's messed up.
I
He could have
know.
easily been in this.
I know. Even just like a voice or something. But
Yeah.
whatever. Bill Murray, obviously always in them. I think another one that is not in this movie, but is in his movies consistently is Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman, Tilda Swinton. I couldn't think of anybody else, but those are the
Edward
main players.
Norton, George
Edward
Clooney.
Norton. Yep. There you go. Oh yeah, George Clooney.
Mhm.
And so what I thought we would do, and I hope you prepared for
I
this,
did.
but I wanted to create our own list of people that we would call every time we made a movie. If we were a director that made consistent movies every single year and we had a list of I chose 6. I think I told you 6, right?
Yeah, I did 6.
Okay, a list of 6 people, 6 actors that if you call them, they're going to be like, "Yeah, I'll do whatever you need me to do." I
Yeah,
think
I
we can go
had
back and forth, so you go first.
so I want to preface this by saying I kind of went a fun route. I don't know if I was a real actor if this would be my top 6. I would like this to be. Realistically, I don't know. I a lot of this is just like I thought it would be funny, you know? So,
Go ahead.
in no particular order. I just want to give what is it called? Like runner ups. Just
Okay.
one runner up.
Okay.
Taika Waititi. He's kind of an actor. I mean, he's in his own movies, but I would love
Yeah.
for him not only to be. I feel like he would bring just so much humor to the movie, and he
Yeah.
would give me some sage advice as a director.
This is not
So,
part of your 6?
no, it's part of my six. Number one on my six, Sterling K. Brown,
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
because he is good in a dramatic role. He's also he's a voice actor in Solar Opposites. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have.
In season, I think both seasons, but in season two, he's like hilarious. So mainly for that, but he's also amazing. Just an amazing actor.
That's good. Okay, well, I also want to runner up because I didn't know we could do that. But
Well, I
somebody,
wanted to shout out.
well, I think that's a good rule, or not rule, but that's a good shout out because I was like struggling on putting this person in because I would want them to act in it, but I also just want their advice. But my runner up would be Regina King
Mm,
because I just feel like
yes.
no matter what movie she's involved in, it's always going to be good. And so I just would want her advice. But my number one is Toni Collette.
Mm,
Because I think if I were to make a collection of movies, it would definitely be horror or at least be like creepy in some way. And so she's a must. Like I would need her in that.
oh yeah, for sure.
And she's funny, so if I want to do a comedy, then she could do that.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, I also wanted a variety of people. You know, all shapes and sizes and ages. So number two, Noah Jupe, who
I don't even know who
Honey
that is.
Boy.
Oh,
He's the
good
kid in
pick.
Honey Boy. So he would be good. He can act. I really like him in Honey Boy. So
Hmm. I don't work with children, but no, I'm kidding. My number two is Oscar Isaac. Purely
uh
because I would need him to do another role like Ex Machina.
I knew you were gonna pick him.
Yeah, I
There's
think
there's
there's
like a
some
couple
surprises in
people.
here.
There's a couple people I knew you were gonna pick. I have some surprises as well,
I don't.
but
I
that's a
don't
good pick.
think. I think I know who you're talking about, and I'm not gonna pick a lot of those people. I think. I think the rest of
Oh,
mine are
okay.
pretty much like big surprises.
Okay.
But please go
Okay.
on. Who? Why did
My
you
number
pick Matthew
three.
McConaughey? That was so
I was
funny.
actually runner up.
He would be too
He
busy.
actually was a runner up, and I'll say why. Number three, Aubrey Plaza.
I almost picked her.
She is really good in Safety Not Guaranteed, and I'd
Hmm.
want her to play a similar role, or I don't know. She's fantastic in Parks and Rec. She has a good. A lot of these actors have good ranges.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure actors like they need to be an actor, but
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's some people that I would never hire to do like a comedy.
that's true. That's true. So Aubrey Plaza, and I want to see her new movie.
Oh, Black
Uh,
Bear?
yeah, Black Bear.
Sam. Oh, that made me think I should have picked Christopher Abbott, but I did not. Okay.
Continue.
Daniel Kaluuya. I
Mm,
don't need to explain that.
shout out. I wanted to pick him, but I knew you were gonna pick him as well.
Mostly because of the whole like obviously horror thing, but
Hmm.
also he's a great actor and he's an Oscar award winner now, but
Amen.
he just also seems like such a good time.
Oh
I just
yeah,
want
he'd
people
be
that I would
amazing
want
on
to hang
set.
out with. Yeah.
Yeah, I had trouble not just picking. I had to like diversify this um cast list, I guess.
Go on.
Um, I Dev Patel.
Oh, that's such a good one. Yeah, I didn't pick him.
Yeah, he's amazing and everything, and I'm so excited to see him in The Green Knight. So
That's a good one.
yeah, there you go.
All right, my next one is Stephen Yun.
Mm,
He's
yeah.
so good. So he's such a good actor. I mean, he also nominee, but he also is very, very good at comedy. He started out in improv, I think,
Oh
which
really?
means which means he's very good at dramatic roles, obviously. So I need a bit of both. I think that's a big thing for the movies that I would make is that I need somebody that is good at the dramatic stuff, but also can have like a funny moment or two. But I think I don't
Oh,
know. I
okay.
would have to because I would want to make like funny horror films or like horror films that have a lot of comedy in it. So I need somebody that can do that. I also don't know
I
how good I am at writing, so I would need somebody that can like improv.
Please make this better. I
Yeah.
mean, I did not think about like what kind of movies. I just was like, who would be fun to have in a
At
movie?
first I did that, but then I was like, "Ah," but I that's what I meant about like I
I
don't know.
see.
Like I think I first was like, oh, Tony Collette, obviously. But then when I started to get into it, I was like, yeah, what kind of movie am I trying to make? Because this person, I would love for to just hang out with them, but do I want them in the kind of movie I want, you know?
I don't even know what kind of movie I'd make though. But I
Or you
think
can just
I
have
think
the
this
environment
cast is
that you
good.
want. You know, like at least
This
for
is a good
me,
environment.
oh yeah. And for me, I wanted somebody or I guess a cast that wouldn't be scared to be like to give me ideas or to be very collaborative. Cause I feel like every actor says that in an interview, oh, the environment was so collaborative. But I don't think they actually mean it. But I actually want them to like tell me what they think.
Yeah. And I think my list um is also of like characters that I really like in the shows or movies that I've seen them in. Coming in at number 5, or not number 5, but just the fifth one on the list. No order. Linda Cardellini. I really like
Oh,
her
that's
in Dead
good.
to Me. I really love her character in Dead to Me.
Good
And
pick.
I'd probably want her to play a similar role. Or I don't know. I like her in that show.
My next one is Regina Hall. I don't
Oh.
know how she's not in every movie. She is a fucking star. She is so goddamn funny. There's this one video that replays in my head and it lives in my head rent free where I don't even know what it was for, but it was like for some skit with her and I think like Kevin Hart or something, or I don't know. But every time there's like some always a joke that she does during interviews or there's like little bits that she does and she's so goddamn funny. She's the best. Okay. But yeah.
Okay. This this is probably runner up Matthew McConaughey. But Brad Pitt.
Okay.
But only I just wanted someone really famous but have a really, really obscure role. Or like a Deadpool 2. That's why I
Mhm,
picked Brad Pitt because he's in Deadpool 2, but for like what 15 frames or something like that,
mhm.
where he's the Invisible Man. That's
He could fund it. He could get the funding. He's also a producer.
yeah. There you go. That's the
Alright.
collaborative environment.
Okay, my last one, I think it's a very I think this one is very surprising. But my last one is Lana or Lana Condor. She is the girl from those To All the Boys I Loved Before movies. The
Oh,
main girl. Cause she I don't know how people don't talk about this constantly. And those movies, like, they're eh. The first one's really good. The rest of them are like eh. But she is so good in them. She is like
okay.
amazingly like she's like the breakout for me. And I don't know why the person to break out of those movies and to get a bunch of roles would be Noah Centineo. But if you haven't seen those movies, just watch them just for her because she is so good.
I don't think I've seen the second one, but from what I remember in the first one, she was pretty good. I got to rewatch
Another I think this is just a collection of like how are they not in every fucking movie? I don't
it.
get it. But yeah, I'm very happy with these. And I guess I think another runner up for both of our lists, I would hope, is anybody from the acclaimed show Antisocial Distance.
Oh yes, of course.
That is a who's who of. Oh, I know that guy. I love that.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
I
Or like,
love that.
what are they? What are they in? What are they in? What
I've
are they
seen
in?
them
Tell me.
before. I've seen them before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
IMDb, hurry up.
There you go.
Where can I watch Antisocial Distance?
You can go to antisocialdistance.com or you can even go to passover2020.com. We got that. There you
The
go.
fun. I'll go right now.
Do it. Well, after we record.
Yeah, okay,
You're like,
I'll
no,
do that.
I'm opening in the tab right now.
We have to stop. I can't.
Oh, you know what I was
Okay.
thinking? You know what we could do? This is a well, I don't know if you want to keep talking about Moonrise Kingdom.
No,
Okay,
that
movie. I
Moonrise
don't know.
Kingdom. Let's end it
Okay.
with Moonrise. I love it. It reminds me of my childhood. Very nostalgic. So that's why I like it.
I don't know. It's not my favorite of his, and I think it's just a movie that like it. Okay, it kind of bores me, but not because of any fault of the movie. I think it's just not my thing.
Right.
Um, but there, yeah, like I said, there's some parts that I really liked. It made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I forgot Frances McDormand was in it.
Me too.
Um, yeah, solid movie.
Okay. Now you go with what you were gonna say. I'm just like I'm trying to cut it in my brain for the video essay,
Oh, yeah, no worries.
and that's the end of the video essay.
But speaking of antisocial distance, it has such a good eclectic cast that you could use it for the game we're about to play.
Oh yeah.
You technically could. I didn't even think about that. So I don't know if we need to keep introducing it, but we can for this time. If you guys are familiar with 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, you already kind of know how to play the game. So basically, we'll choose an actor from each movie that we chose. Anthony will choose one from Moonrise Kingdom. I'll choose one from This Is Spinal Tap, and we will try to connect them with the least amount of degrees using only movies and TV shows. And we have to know the name of the actor, and the full name of the movie or TV show.
Hello everyone. Sorry, Livia's recording got corrupted, so I have to give a little recap of what happened. So here's what happened. Livia picked Michael McKean in This Is Spinal Tap, and I picked Edward Norton. We both didn't come up with any connection, so we had to go to a tiebreaker, and Sebastian, our producer, picked Tobey Maguire as a tiebreaker, and he was 45, and I believe Livia said like 46, and I said 36, so she won. And she's gonna make me watch an episode of The Invincible, the movie or the show that she was talking about. And then for the episode episode next week, she chose You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and that's on HBO Max. So watch it. Sorry again for this recap, but have a good day. We'll see you next episode.